Yeah. Let's get busy. What's up, sinners? My ZOpium Den sinners.
Yeah, I like that.
Den sinners. That sounds kind of funny. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much as you guys are coming in. Hit that share button. Tag a friend or something like that.
Or a non-friend.
Right? Or tag a non-friend. Somebody get tag a non-friend. He's like, you know they need Jesus. If they ain't your friend, I reckon it's because they need Jesus. All right. So anyway, y'all. Okay, let me go ahead and get to yammering about what's been going on out there. What's the most? Should I start off with the most exciting thing, or should I start off with the most boring thing? I don't know. It's all boring. It's all, like, say for instance, like the impeachment. I'm sorry, it's boring. It's okay. Now, and here's why. It's I don't know if it's so much as it is boring as it is frustrating. Because I feel like, I gotta lecture conservatives again, and I don't want to do that, man. I just want to play some rock and roll, right? Somebody said that their signed CD is right. It's like, hey, so you never acknowledge anybody's, but when it comes to 20-pound sledge, all of a sudden you can see the camera.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so, all right, well, it just sort of jumps out at me.
Selective sight.
Well, at least now you guys know the secret. The way to my heart is through 20-pound sledge. You want to get in my heart, you're going to have to break through there with a 20-pound sledge. That's how you get Zoe's attention. All right? So, here, you guys made me lose my train of thought. So this thing with I've been telling conservatives, it's like, look, you got to promote conservatism in the culture, okay? And we've been too caught up, it's all Trump. And long story short, that we lost the House, and now the House is full of crazy Democrats. They haven't gone crazy. And I wish conservatives would stop saying that too. The Democrats are not the party of yesterday. And it's like the Democrat Party was so much better before. Right. It's like, what was so noble about this Democrat Party back then? What, the Democrat Party of Jim Crow? Yeah. That Democrat Party, that was so much better than today's Democrat Party. The Democrat, the KKK,
Yeah.
Revocation of civil rights and voting rights. That Democrat Party was so much better. Yeah, but Kennedy, okay, you got this anomaly in the Democrat Party. You're going to make the whole Democrat Party out to be this great party just because of one person?
An anomaly, wow.
Well, Kennedy, who would be a conservative? Well, Kennedy was against civil rights too. You know that, right? But don't get me wrong, y'all, because if you're gonna say that Kennedy would be a Republican or a conservative today, at least include that he might have reformed his views on race.
Oh, a good point.
At least make the point to say that when he was a Democrat, he opposed the Civil Rights Bill. But since since you feel that he was a conservative, and because of the civil rights that followed afterwards, if you follow that trajectory, it's probably because he was going to leave the Democrat Party and become a Republican. He probably wouldn't have followed or agreed with what LBJ was doing.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
You might want to make a distinction between Kennedy and LBJ. If you got conservatives out there who are going to keep trying to say that, the Democrat Party, it's not the same Democrat. Democrat Party hadn't changed. One, Democrat Party still crazy. Let's not get away from the original point. Democrat Party still, they're as crazy as today as they were over 100 years ago.
Right.
Crazy people. And what is it that Democrats want today? What do they want? They want everything paid for by the forced expense of somebody else.
Indeed.
Right?
Yep.
They want school paid for, healthcare paid for, flipping housing, transportation, everything, college. They want all the stuff paid for. Yep. And they want somebody else to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's slavery.
Ooh.
You're going to force somebody else to facilitate somebody else's comforts or needs or desires or whichever. You're going to force somebody else to do that. That's slavery, y'all. Right? It's basically what we've gone from the Democrats wanting the private institution of slavery legal. Now, what they want is basically state-run serfdom. That's what they want.
Amen.
You think it's like it drives me nuts when I hear that conservatives and conservatives want to do it. Conservatives help Democrats be who they are.
I know.
So Democrats, they're not able to do this stuff on their own. They do it because conservatives help them. Conservatives, they're lost on language, man.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why the word of God says life and death is in the power of the tongue. Okay, and conservatives, I hear conservatives every day. These radical leftists, there's nothing radical about them. Democrats have never been radical. They have always been rebels. That's what they were called in the Civil War.
Yeah.
Why were they called rebels? Because they rebelled against the U.S. Constitution. They made their own Constitution. Are Democrats not enemies of the Constitution today?
Indeed.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
So why do we call them radicals when there's nothing radical about them? Like I keep trying to tell y'all, radical has a root. It has a core. People try to split hairs and stuff like that. Well, radical means extremist. Well, then call them extremists.
Right. Yeah.
Call them extremists, but they're not radicals. A radical, the extremist aspect of radical is when you take radical measures to return something back to its initial state. When you take radical measures, when you take extreme measures to do that, there has to be an application of the extreme measure. It's not generally extreme. All right? So if you're going to say that these people are being extreme, then call them extreme. But don't call them radicals. You're only validating them.
Oh, that's interesting.
When you talk about Sal Alinsky, when he's talking about rule book for radicals, it's not and he dedicated it to Satan, the first radical. Satan wasn't a radical. Satan is a rebel. He's not a radical. If he was a radical, he would have stuck to the word of God, because that's what a radical does. Jesus is the original radical. He is the word that's been there since the beginning. He is the root. He is the core. He is the radical. All right? This is the original rule book for radicals, guys. And you got so many conservatives out there calling these liberals radicals when there's nothing radical about them. Nothing.
Can you help us understand that, though? They're radical. It means root?
Yeah, that's what radical means. It means root, a core, right? And of course, in its expanded definition, you're talking about something extreme. But the extreme, the application of that extreme is to return something to its initial state. Even if you have to take extreme measures to do it. That's what it is to be radical. That's why when the Republican Party was founded, Republicans were called radicals. Rightfully so. Because the objective of the Republican Party was to return the state back to its initial core, the Constitution.
Oh, that's great.
And the Word of God. Against the Democrats who founded the Confederacy to be rebels against the Constitution. Yes, they were rebels. How do I know they were rebels? Because they made their own Constitution, the Constitution of the Confederate States. And we got conservatives out there, and it's like, nobody, and I don't know, for some reason, people listen to, these talk show hosts, Rush Limbaugh, Levin, Hannity, and they'll just go on and keep saying radical leftists. Trump, even Trump, these radical leftists, they're not radical. What you're doing is you're legitimizing them. You're giving them power. You're giving them power to do what it is that they're doing. Well, you think I'm nuts? No, I'm not nuts. Okay, if I don't know what I'm talking about, how can they have the House? Right? Because you keep legitimizing them. That's why. And so, all that to say, if conservatives would stop legitimizing these people and get the language straight, and stop calling these people something that they're not radicals, they're rebels, we could start, moving the ball up the field a little bit.
Yeah. Because
this impeachment thing, y'all, this whole impeachment thing, man, what and I heard I think there's something to what Bannon has to say about it. You got a lot of Republicans that don't like Trump. You got a lot of establishment Republicans.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And what he says, and I think there's something to that. That the reason why this impeachment is being pushed forward, and it seems, and because Republicans are going to want something in exchange for that acquittal.
Say it again.
These Republicans, it's like you think Trump is just going to get an acquittal? No, they're going to want something in exchange.
Oh boy.
Right? So you got these establishment Republicans that are in there. Not all of them like Trump, and for them to get on board, they might. That's right. That's right, Joe. Rebellious Democrats. That's what they are. They're not radicals. Say it loud, man. Say it loud. They're rebels. They're rebels just like they were in the 1800s. Rebels.
Yeah.
They're not radicals. The real radicals are right here.
That's right.
We're the radicals, man. We are. Not them. So it's like when conservatives talk about reclaiming something, you ought to reclaim that. We're the real radicals. If you're rooted in this, you're the real radical. All right, that's something to be cool with.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, Trump getting this acquittal may cost him. Now, from where I'm sitting, what I'm looking at is like, yeah, I think I kind of agree with that, because do you hear really a lot of Senate Republicans making noise to get in the way of what these Democrats are doing in the House? You see a lot of it? I don't. It's almost like they're just sitting back and they're waiting. Yeah, go ahead and get that impeachment in the House and bring it to the Senate table so we can go ahead and make our stipulations. You know? And this is why I've been saying for years, conservatives, you are too dependent on a politician to make a move for you. You gotta say, you keep saying government is not the answer, while you keep looking for a politician to do the right thing in office. No, you gotta make cultural moves.
Amen.
You have to do that. Your political representation is only as stable as your cultural representation, and you do not have either.
Yeah.
You know, I keep hearing people how much they love Breitbart. Breitbart said, and that's why we connected. Because he saw what I was doing. He says, yeah, you get it. You get it. I dig what you're doing. Let's talk, man. Because we understood. Yeah, politics is downstream from the culture.
Amen.
And conservatives, they hardly support. They hardly support that cultural front. They hardly do it. It always has to be about politicians, and they don't think it's valid unless it's some political official doing it. And that's wrong. It is the wrong approach, man. You're just doing it backwards. You're doing it so backwards. So that being said, so now that brings me to Kanye again. People still talking about Kanye.
Yeah, he's in our feed.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, because I've been saying it. It's like, yeah, let's make that cultural connection.
Amen.
So Godspeed to Kanye for what he's doing, but conservatives act like he's the only person who's doing it. And the thing is you got conservatives out there, Christian conservatives, still hemming and hawing about what he is and arguing on if he is or not. It's like, is Kanye or isn't he? Is he Trump supporter or is he not? Is he Christian or is he not? What's he doing? It's like, instead of guessing and going back and forth and him and her, why don't y'all support the real thing? You don't have to say, I'm sorry, man, if I'm sounding selfish or anything like that, but I'm a musician, right? If folks would talk about 20-pound sledge as much as they talk about Kanye, oh my goodness. I'm not, and don't get me wrong, y'all. He's obviously there's a reason why he's a big star musically. His music has mass appeal and stuff like that. And I understand that 20-pound sledge appeals to a niche audience. It's a smaller demographic of people who like, rock music, heavy metal, and stuff like that. Actually, the demographic is almost the same. Rock music, rap music. It just depends on, I don't know. It's just one of those things what, triggers people, if I will, on what they're going to get behind or not. And if it's just one of those things where people, if they want to get switched on, they'll get behind something. And you guys see that it's true, because that there's a lot of music out there that's really not that good. It's not. It's not. And it gets, you hear it on the radio all the time. He's like, man, I'm sick of that song. That song sucks. Why is it? Why? Just because there's something where just somebody or a group of people wanted to get behind it, and they got behind it, and there it is.
Sure, yeah. Something
just said, okay, yeah, I want to get behind this. All right, whether it was maybe somebody wrote a song and says, I think that this band can perform this song that I wrote. That's why you have producers and stuff like that. They may come up with a template of songs and say that, okay, we want these guys to perform these songs, and these are the people that people call sellouts and stuff like that. It's like, what? It's business, y'all.
Right.
It's business. It's an industry, okay? Sometimes people write songs for other people to play.
Yeah.
So what? If they see that this band has the right image and they think that this band can actually capture the essence of what this producer was trying to do, so what? That's why you become musicians.
Well, yeah.
So you can play your own stuff, but a good musician is also able to play other people's stuff too.
Right.
All right? That's what they get paid for.
David was probably good at that. Writing songs for other people.
Right.
People playing his songs.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. But like I said, from where I'm coming from, y'all, here's somebody who's been vetted. I've been at this for years, and I've been tried, as for my faith, and for my political beliefs. And here it is. Yeah. I'm still swinging, y'all. And of course, one of the reasons why is because, hey, I ain't faced nothing like some of these cats have faced. So if I punked out, I would be a real punk. All right, we hadn't gotten it that bad. Yeah. So I just bite my lip, just shut my lip, roll my lip up, and just keep on going. But yeah, y'all, with conservatives, talking about Kanye, and Christians talking about Kanye, is he for real or isn't he? It's like, why? I don't understand why not just put that energy into something that you know.
But honey, don't you think that maybe they're just clamoring after somebody who's popular? Like, he's popular.
Yeah, he's popular, but
popular guy on our side now.
Sure, but wait a minute. What happened to who cares what these celebrities think?
Exactly, right?
There's even a PragerU university out there. Who cares what these celebrities think?
Candace saying, nobody cares what they think.
Nobody cares what they think. Okay, well then you guys need to fire Adam Carolla.
Yeah, true.
Fire him. And it's like, okay, well, all of a sudden people care about what Kanye thinks. Wait, I thought he was a celebrity. Nobody cares about that. See, that was one of the reasons why when I was on, every once in a while, I would be on Fox, and I told Fox, and I guess they don't. One of the reasons why they don't call me anymore is because I told them, I said, you guys, you don't have to promote me as a pundit. I'm a musician. My group is 20 Pound Sledge. Well, they didn't want to do it. Bill O'Reilly's the only one who did it. And I didn't have to twist his arm to do it. Yeah. Bill O'Reilly had me on and put in the Chiron drummer for 20 Pound Sledge.
Chiron.
Right?
Chiron is a technical term.
Oh, Chiron. In the lower third, where it has me my name and my attributes and stuff like that. So he's the only one who did it. And I didn't have to twist because Bill O'Reilly gets the culture war thing. He gets it. Yeah. Right? He's one of the cats who gets it. So he didn't mind doing it. But, after that, I let them know. It's like, look, if you guys are going to book me, it's 20 Pound Sledge. But for some reason, they saw no importance in that. Well, it's not important. We don't care about your music stuff. We don't care about that. We don't care about artists and celebrities and stuff like, ooh, Kanye, right. Or ooh, Pussycat Dolls. Ooh, it's like, all of a sudden, these people, it's important that they all of a sudden have some conservative thoughts. These musicians and these actors and stuff like that. It's important. But what I've been trying to say is like, yeah, dude, you guys, if you want to connect with the culture,
right.
Don't promote me as a pundit. I'm a musician.
All you were asking was put drummer.
Yeah.
On my attributes.
Yeah, drummer for 20 Pound Sledge.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't want to do that.
No, just a pundit. That's it.
That's it. And so it's like, okay, well, and after that, I didn't hear much from it. Like, say for instance, like now here's Hannity. Hannity's invited me on his shows. I've been booked to be on Hannity like 3 times, and he canceled me 3 times. Yeah. Right? Every time I would be booked to be on Hannity, they canceled. I didn't call asking. All right, they contacted me. I don't know if it was a booking agent or whichever. They contacted me to be on Hannity, and each time Hannity canceled on me. All right, maybe it's because he didn't like me because I'm a heavy metal, drummer, and that and Hannity doesn't like heavy metal. All right,
he made that clear last night.
Yeah, it's like the only kind of music there that exists is country music. No wonder people think that conservatives are narrow-minded and ain't got no funk or anything like that. They just think that we're boring people who just likes to listen to country music. Okay, thanks, Hannity. Thank you for making us look like we're just these one-sided people and stuff like that. Right. But when you think about rap music, and I'm not a big rap music fan, not so much because of the music, but because of the content that's been put over it. But when you think about the power and influence of rap music, it's a darn shame that conservatives didn't take advantage of that. It's like, who didn't support, hey, we could take this stuff and put some better lyrics over it.
Yeah.
But no, all conservatives say rap music is crap music. Rap is crap.
I probably said
it's
that.
Like, why? And the content is crap. It's definitely crap. But the music itself, in its simplicity, even if it's sampled or anything like that, you can't deny its influence. Oh, man. And conservatives, dismiss that. Dismiss that vehicle to tap into the culture with. Rock music, same thing. Hannity turns his nose up to rock music. It's like, wow, man. It's like, oh, what? And what does he say? He doesn't like rock music because of all the shouting?
Yeah, he says it sounds like a bunch of screaming.
A bunch of shouting and stuff like that? Well, you must really hate Mark Levin.
Oh.
You know, stop listening to Mark Levin, Hannity, if you don't like all the shouting. Get out of politics altogether if you don't like all the shouting. Because you know what? There's a lot of senseless shouting in politics.
Amen.
You know? So, I mean, patriotism sounds good in any genre. And you ought to be happy that there's somebody out there. I don't care if it's punk rock. I don't care if it's rap, heavy metal. I don't care what it is. You know, if it's got a redeeming message to it, you know, you might want to support that.
Amen.
Support the message, because these vehicles have been used to promote garbage in the culture. Maybe you don't want to support vehicles to help clean it up. You know?
Yeah.
Something to counter these things.
Good, yeah.
Man, I mean, but it's a shame. But now all of a sudden, you know, Kanye is worth Hannity talking about. I guess, you know, nobody at Fox News.
He was worth Hannity talking about in 2011 or remember.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he was talking about that. And now you got the liberals of late night talk show trying to call Hannity a hypocrite because now I guess he's got positive stuff to say about Kanye, if anything, positive stuff to say about Kanye, when he didn't before. Well, what about you liberal hypocrites? Now all of a sudden you don't like Kanye when before you did.
Yeah.
You know, those double standards, you know, as the saying goes, you know, if liberals didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all.
Amen.
So at any rate, y'all, I'm like I said, I've been trying to say for years, you know, and Facebook knows it. Facebook knows it. Twitter knows it. Google did. That's why they silence me, because I've been trying to, because they know if what I'm doing were to catch on, they'd see it would be trouble for them.
Oh yeah.
You know, if I was able to do what it is that I'm talking about doing and building this army of artists and making that cultural connection, making content to illustrate these ideas in music or in comedy or anything like that, come on, man. They're trying to put me far behind the ball as they possibly can, because there's so much liberal content out there. It's like Goliath.
Yeah.
It's Goliath, man. That's what we're up against, and they're hoping that this giant will just be too big for us to do anything about. But you know,
intimidating.
You know what I'm saying? But oh man, they I don't know. They're missing the power of God, man.
Amen.
They're missing it, you know. And I can express my frustration. It's like, well, Zoe, if you believe in God so much, why are you always expressing? Well, David expresses frustration. You know, David believed in God too. You know, but David still expresses grievances. Sure. You know, this is what we're up against. I'm just saying. You know, but I know that the Lord is going to have the last word.
Yeah.
So, you know, but this stuff with with Fox News, and it's just weird. All of a sudden, these artists matter to Fox News, when I've been one of the guys out there talking about, and not just talking about it, but doing it, you know, and nothing, not a lick of importance to them at all. You know, that I was doing this and been shot down for it, punished for it. You know, all because I told Fox News, it's like, you know, don't promote me as a pundit. You know, I'm a musician. I'm an artist. You know, nah, that's not important to us. Ooh, Kanye. You know,
Oh, honey.
you know, it's hypocritical. You know, they'd rather build up somebody else that people aren't even really sure about than to build up one of their own.
Well, because they're not looking at the Christian aspect. Well, I mean, Hannity kind of was. They're looking at, ooh, he likes Trump now.
Yeah, that too. You know, so
Republican.
And y'all, I'm not sour graping or anything like that. I'm just pointing out. I'm saying this is one of the reasons why we have such a hard time making these connections.
Yeah.
You know what's going on with this impeachment and stuff like that.
Oh Lord.
Man, I'm telling you, conservatives, that's the route that you have not gone down. It's the route that you have not gone down. There's not enough support. And speaking of which, I hope that you guys will visit my website. The message is free. Delivering it isn't. Like I said, I need 300. I need 300 $10 supporters a month. I just need 300, and I can do this full time. I can't promote and do the stuff that I've been doing the way that I used to, because I just don't have time to. You know, got to hold down a day job. Don't mind working, but that's just not the kind of work I do. All right, I'm an entertainer. I'm a musician. I'm an artist, and so to do that stuff, it's not free.
A rare breed of Christian conservative entertainers.
It's that's one of those things that you don't see too much of with conservatives. So somebody who's out there trying to work that cultural angle for y'all, it takes support. It takes support to do. And so I'm hoping that you guys will support. What else we got going on out there?
Well, Chick-fil-A. Victoria was mentioning them in the feed, how they've turned.
Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying, y'all. We have to have solid cultural representation, where even something like Chick-fil-A has basically gone chicken. They went chicken. Why? Because where's the cult? They're not seeing. They're more afraid. They're more afraid of Goliath.
Yeah. Than
they are of God. Think about that, y'all. Chick-fil-A closed on Sunday. Chick-fil-A, you know, who says that we're pro traditional marriage and stuff like that. Well, okay, somehow you've been. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, y'all. Let me know. I'd hope. I hope I get this right. But Chick-fil-A has been, you know, duped into cutting off support to the Salvation Army, because I guess Salvation Army is accused of hate speech against the LGBTQ. So Chick-fil-A is ceasing their support for them. Well, Chick-fil-A, you've also been accused of the same thing. Y'all gonna stop making sandwiches? You know, I mean, what's the deal? Now, I mean, if you're gonna cut anything off about Salvation Army, it might be because of their questionable stance on Israel. You know, as far as from what it looks like, the Salvation Army is all about that replacement theology. If you're gonna cancel support for them for something, I mean, that would be one of the things.
Right, their doctrine.
Yeah. But you know, come on, y'all. That's what I'm saying, though. See that cultural support in the ways that the liberals are able to do what they're doing. Liberals are able to do what they do because they get into people's heads through music, through movies, through teleplays, through the radio. They're anything that has a system of influence. That's where they are. Fashion, video games. That's where they are. Conservatives do not support this.
They buy the liberal stuff.
They buy the liberal stuff.
Oh Lord.
And it's like, I don't know. And I feel like I'm fooling myself, because it's like, man, if I can't reach conservatives, I must be crazy to think that I can reach liberals. I'm wasting my time. You know, it's like I feel like I'm wasting my time, man. Like I said, I feel like I'm just talking to this brick wall. It's like I can't get conservatives to understand this. I mean, at this for years, like, dude, support.
Well, God put this on your heart, honey.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you know,
people will get it. The culture will. I think Republicans and Christians, they are gonna slowly get it, because it's just gonna keep getting worse.
Yeah,
and they'll get it.
Well, you know, I hope at some point that they do get it, and
either that or Maranatha.
Maranatha, that's what I'm talking about. But y'all, as long as we have this republic, we have a responsibility. You know, our responsibility is to tell the truth. That God gave us this republic for a reason, and we should be making better use for it. I know that there's people out there talking about God is still on the throne, but you know what? God is not going to be pleased with people who allowed His blessings of freedom to get voted away.
Oh, amen.
You know, we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to, you know, get out there and be that salt and light and rock the gospel and tell folks the truth in the most compelling ways that we can. If there's anything else,
Stars and Stripes. Your pack.
So, and y'all, please be sure to check out Stars and Stripes Forever pack. I am part of the Faces of America campaign that they have, and our objective is to reach out and connect conservative values to the demographics that we're accused of forgetting. You know, people say that Republicans don't care about black people and don't care about women and they don't care about Hispanics and all that sort of stuff. Well, our objective is to make sure that we dispel that myth and get through these prejudices that people have, even in the said communities, and connect these values to them. You know, let them know that this is what conservative values are. You're going to hear it straight from us. You know, and we hope that you'll consider that despite the prejudices that you've been conditioned to believe. You know, this is the real deal. So that's, Stars and Stripes Forever pack is that, and Faces of America is part of that campaign. I hope you guys check them out, Stars and Stripes Forever. And with that, what else we got?
Us ladies are talking about Target, banning Target. Yeah, I have boycotted Target.
Yeah, we don't do Target.
So hard. because they're fashion, they're great. But yeah, I've boycotted them since 2016 when I had to use the restroom, and they only had the unisex bathroom open, and I was like, does that mean men can go in there? And the guy said, yep. And I said, well, no, thank you.
Did you just assume their gender?
That's true.
You're not supposed to do that, ma'am. You just get in there and pee like a good little pronoun or whatever you are.
That was the last time I darkened Target's doors.
Yeah.
Boo. Yeah, and they said, somebody in the feed said that they don't allow the Salvation Army bell ringers in front of them anymore. But you know what, people, let's just not go to Target.
Okay. Well,
painful as it is.
Yeah, we don't do Target. Even though unless it's an emergency.
Well, you're gonna have fun somewhere else.
But yeah, I don't really do Target. Okay, let's do it. We are at Exodus 20, y'all.
Yes.
Let me get there. Hold on.
Can you figure out why it's blurring?
Is it still blurring?
Well,
is it still, or was it?
It's been blurring for me. I thought it was my eyes, but
Maybe because I'm like,
yeah, it's blurring.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Bad.
Dang it! That's the devil, man. There's no good reason why my phone should be.
The power of the air.
Yeah. I mean, because on my end it looks fine. Let me see how it's going. Now, see, if I go and look at this, man, it's going to be distracting. The devil is trying to distract me, man. I'm telling you. There's no reason why I should be doing that. None.
No.
None.
Maybe we're having small earthquakes.
Well, it is pretty close. It's raining here right now.
Yeah, it's raining, so we actually could be having some earth movement.
Yeah, it's like
very typical here.
I know, it's like it's like it remembered that it's late fall. Is it coming up on winter? It's going to be winter pretty soon. Yeah. And weather's been amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
75 degrees every day.
Jealous.
They're like, no, you guys live in California.
Yeah, I know, right? See, and stuff like that, and you understand why it's so hard to leave, right? No. It's like I'm still trying to talk, and people are probably like, "Yeah, so whatever, you're blurry. Won't you shut up and fix that, man?"
I wonder what that is.
Is it still blurry?
Yeah. Every few seconds you're blurring, like it's on a timer or something. Yeah, there it goes.
Blurred again?
Yep. I mean, maybe people can just listen and not watch.
Well, part of the fun of the ZOpium Den is watching Zo in action.
Better, but your hat has a dent in it now, Brian. You're so funny.
Whatever. Let me try to see what's what it looks like on. Is it still blurry?
No, not so far.
I don't want to keep talking about blurry, man. Blurred lines. Now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head.
Sing that while you're doing the technical. Yeah, it still is, honey.
The only thing I could suggest, y'all, is probably what's gonna happen is probably what it is that it's buffering, and okay, hopefully that'll help. Now somebody says that it froze. Rotten.
But it said it. There it goes. It's
back.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Let's give it a couple seconds.
Brian says you're a stylish dude. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Style him.
High five. All right. Yeah. Okay. Blur or no blur?
We're gonna read the Bible.
We got work to do. Okay. As soon as I find out where we were.
Exodus 20.
Exodus 20. All right. This Bible's taking a beating. Right, let me flip these little pages like I'm on a mission. Okay. Father in heaven, thank you so much. We thank you for your word. Holy Spirit, we welcome you in Yeshua's name. We look forward to what it is that you'll reveal to us today. We're trusting in you that no other influence will get in the way of what it is that you want us to learn or do. We trust in you to help us be effective salt and light, fruitful for your glory, and be an inspiration to those that we come in contact with. May our actions and may our words be a ministry to them and inspire them somehow. And if they abide in you, that they stay inspired to be abide in you, abide in you. And if they're not we pray that, by them encountering us, that they'll seek you and receive your truth. Thank you so much, Father. In Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. Let's get into what your Bible might call it the Ten Commandments. They've become known as the Ten Commandments. Hebrew scholars will say in Hebrew it breaks down as the 10 statements or the 10 words. But here's the thing. Even though they are statements or they are words, the bottom line is that it's still the law. They're still commandments. And as we read, we'll get into why. Okay, so and remember, and mind you guys, this is God saying this. This is God. This isn't written on stone tablets. This is God showing up. Why? Because they'll have no excuse. This is the law, and it is coming to you straight from God. All right. So, it's almost like in the Garden of Eden, the law was given. The law is, do not eat from this tree. It's coming straight from God. You have no excuse to not understand this. You have no excuse to not know what the penalty is. None. I made this very clear to you. It's very simple. Right? Not only did I make this stipulation very clear, it's a very simple stipulation. There's no excuse for you to not get it. All right? That's one of the reasons why God was so ticked off when they, trespass on this policy that he made with them.
I have a discussion question afterward regarding that.
Okay, so let's get it on. 20 at 1. Then God spoke all these words, saying, I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Now, we know these commandments as, you shall have no other gods before me and stuff like that. This consolidated version of the commandments, right? Okay, let me tell you why that the 10 Commandments, and you'll learn about this. If you get my book, A Solid Right Cross, I go in depth on this. Go in depth on the 10 Commandments. And I think it's probably a matter of time before somebody puts in, oh, did you see Prager's video on his... All right. You ought to ask him if he's read my book on 10 Commandments. All right, anyway.
He needs the Lord.
Okay, because, out of the 10 Commandments, I found Jesus. What does he know about the 10 Commandments? He ain't found Jesus yet.
Aww.
No, I'm just kidding. I hope you do, though.
He has that funny joke, though. He says when he does meet Jesus, or if Jesus were to show up, he's going to ask him, have you been here before? Or is this your first time here?
Well, as a matter of fact, it's like, but, you keep him in prayers, y'all. I pray that he gets it, because, if he does get it, what a weapon for the Lord he will really be. All right? So, then God spoke to him. And now, when God says, I am the Lord your God, that in itself, y'all, is a law. That's the law, right? You know why? Because if you don't get it, if you reject that, there's ultimately a penalty to pay for that. Now, we can go ahead and live our lives and choose if we want to. If you don't want to believe in God or not, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's like, I have told you the truth. You rejected it. That's actually against the law. It's actually against me. I am the law, right? And you've decided to reject the law, which is me, right? So there's a penalty to pay for that, which makes this statement a law. It is the highest truth there is. God is. I am. Right? There's no truth higher than that. It's a truth so high that it's a law. All right? You don't believe that law, well, there's a penalty to pay for that. So let me see. And then from there, it says that I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. That is also a law. Because what God is telling you is that my law for you is for you to be free. That's the law.
Oh, that's nice.
You're not supposed to be oppressed. This stuff that's going on in your world, disease, that's against the law for me. You'll read it even in the commandments. If you got a disease, you got infirmities or something like, you better not approach my mountain. I'll have you killed.
Oh.
Right? Seriously. It's like God's like that. He's that serious because disease is oppression. I don't do oppression. Right?
Wow.
It's oppressive to me. Disease is oppressive. Slavery, oppressive. Your thoughts, if your thoughts are diseased, your emotions, if you're any of that stuff, if it's oppressive, do not approach my mountain.
Wow.
Don't approach me. Don't approach me with your disease. Because God is full on anti-oppression. He is the ultimate liberator. Even death is not supposed to get. Death is against the law for God. Wow. That's why Jesus went and paid the price that he did. Amen. So we can be liberated, even from death.
Thank you, Jesus.
Right? So in right here, this is part of the commandments. So let's see. So I brought you out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Do not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or on the earth below or in the water or under the earth. Okay, let's check that out. Okay, you shall have no other gods before me. And this is important to God. Why? Because if you have any other gods before God, and remember, y'all, when we're talking about gods, we're not just talking about God in a deistic sense. God is anything that you have positioned above you or that assumes to position itself above you. God can be the government, right? Another God can be your inner celebrities. It can be money. It could be your job. It could be anything that you takes to be so important that you put your stock into that before you put your faith in God. And the problem with that, y'all, is because of the links that people will go through to appease their God because they think that they'll receive some sort of reward for it. Somehow it's going to be a benefit to their lives. And people will go so far as to sacrifice, their belongings, whether it be their taking a bunch of trips to the pawn shop, sacrifice their money, ultimately even sacrifice their children. All right. This is, human sacrifice is something that's a real thing. So when God is saying, don't have any other gods before me, it's because people they'll be sacrificing babies, sacrificing virgins, they'll make sacrifices to appease their gods. And that's why God says, do not have any other gods before me, because you will do evil things to appease your God because you think that you're going to get some sort of benefit from it. All right. So let's see. And whether that is, when it says, you shall have no other gods before me, do not make for yourself a graven image of any likeness of anything that is in heaven. So that includes Jesus, y'all. Uh-oh. No, he didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. That includes Jesus. You want to know why? Because right here where it says, do not make for yourself a graven image. Do people have an idea of this Jesus that they want to fit into their idea of what Jesus should be? Of course they do. Yeah. Right? And Jesus don't like it. Jesus lets you know that he don't like it. All right? So even right here, and this, of course, technically, well, for all intents and purposes, this is Jesus talking. This is Yeshua. It's him. Yeah. And he's saying, don't make an engraven image of me. Don't make this sugar-coated Jesus that you've fallen in love with. This Jesus that's this all-accepting hippie who's okay with everything. Do whatever you want. Just call me and I'll love you anyway. I'll love you despite your sin. Right? Go ahead and be a homosexual. Go ahead and be a drunkard. Go ahead and be a promiscuous. Go ahead and do this and go ahead and do that. It's okay. I'll still love you. That's an engraven image. That's not how Jesus rolls. Not at all. Jesus loves us, yes. Doesn't love our sin. We know that. But people, they take that to mean that when Jesus is having, he's sitting at the table with sinners and tax collectors and prostitutes and homosexuals and all that sort of stuff. Y'all, if you came to Jesus' table, if you read that passage, didn't you also know that Jesus called these people sick?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he?
True.
Right? Jesus said, yeah, these people are sick. Which means that if you came to sit at his table, you expected to leave well.
Wow.
You brought your sin to Jesus' table, and Jesus says, if you're going to leave this table, you sit down at my table. When you leave, you're going to be changed. All right? You ain't going to do prostitution no more. You ain't going to be a drunkard no more. You ain't going to be a tax collector. You ain't going to be a homosexual. All that stuff is done. When you leave this table, you're going to be a changed person.
Yes.
All right? Jesus didn't say, all right, good to see you, man. Right, all right. Well, go ahead and do you.
Right.
Go ahead and do you. I still love you. I'll see you in heaven.
That's our American Jesus.
Right? That's a perversion.
Yeah.
That is an engraven image.
Wow.
That's what Jesus is talking about. That's an engraven image of something that's in heaven. Right? Do not make an engraven image of in heaven, above, or on the earth. So when Jesus was on the earth, and when Jesus was put in the earth, right? People make up ideas about him. And of course this extends beyond Jesus too. We're talking about astrology, we're talking about paganism here. All right? So when people are looking at this has, different connotations. When we're talking about making a graven image of things in heaven, God has already put his statutes on how we're supposed to view the celestial bodies. God lets us know that they are for signs and seasons. I'll let you know that. But if you're looking at the stars to give you counsel about your money, or your love life, or your health or anything like that, God's like, no. That's not what I put them there for. If those things concern you, you look to me.
Right.
You look to me for those answers. You don't look to the stars.
Amen.
All right? That's astrology. So that doesn't cut it for God. And of course, we're talking about things on the earth and under them, then we're talking about paganism. Right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for these earthen gods and stuff like that. Of course, paganism extends from the earth to the sky and stuff like that. When you're talking about worshiping things in the natural and thinking that there's some sort of spiritual attribute to these natural things that you look to aside from God, and these things take on forms like Wicca and things like that. That's paganism, and God's like, no.
All right.
No, that's not how this works. Okay, so and then from there, now check this out, y'all, because this is the thing that a lot of churches they don't get this connotation right here. We weren't brought up really knowing this. Okay, and this is very important because we're seeing this today, where it says, "Do not bow down to them." When it's telling you, "Do not make a graven image above on the earth, below, or in the water under the earth." Do not bow down to them. And do not let anyone make you serve them. Does your Bible say that?
I wonder.
Did we learn that in church? I mean, if your Bible says it, I hope it does. I hope it does. But I don't remember, not that I paid a lot of attention in church. Honestly, I didn't. I didn't pay a lot of attention in church, but I've stumbled across the 10 Commandments a few times in my life, and I don't ever remember it saying, "Do not let anyone make you bow down to them."
That's weird, yeah.
This is very significant, y'all, because what did I say earlier? When it's talking about gods, it's not just talking about gods in a deistic sense. All right, talk about authorities. All right, so we are being forced to bow down to other gods.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
The state has the power to to violate the commandment to not steal.
Yeah.
Violates our constitutional right to property. We have a federal mandate that we have to acknowledge gay marriage.
Oh yeah, jeez.
Right? We are being forced to live under the rule of man. Laws that are apart from God. That's bow down to other gods, y'all. We messed up. Okay, but the thing is, the best we can do is like, God, please forgive us. We're not with this.
Amen.
And give us the power to speak against it and do something.
Yeah.
Let's help us to set the record straight. I don't know if it, the Lord's ultimately the Lord can restore. I don't know if we can restore it. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. I don't know if we can put it back to where it's like, look, man, marriage is between a man and a woman. We have it. It's the law. It's a federal law that abortion is protected.
Yeah.
It's to be able to commit murder is legal. Have we not bowed down to other gods?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where we're allowing the sacrifice of children? Come on, y'all.
That's sick.
That's legal. And when God looks at a nation that makes these sins legal and accepts the rule of these sins over his law, we're in trouble, y'all.
Amen.
We're in trouble. Okay? So I don't know if we'll be able to fix that. God will ultimately fix. He's going to restore everything. But do we have a job to do to say that, okay, in this generation, man, we got to reverse this stuff? It's possible.
Yes.
I don't know. It may take a war. Slavery used to be legal too. It took a war to stop that.
Well, that's true.
You know,
Democrats don't want to give up their entitlements.
And y'all, and don't think that, I mean, I know people think that, if you go to war with a bunch of homosexuals and LGBTQ and stuff like that, that it'll be an easy fight. I don't know, y'all.
Right? They're psychotic, so
they're
exactly. It's gonna be easy.
These people are crazy.
Yeah.
They're psychotic. All right.
And wicked.
And exactly. The same things that brought about the flood of Noah's day. And what did God say? What did God say? It'll be like the days of Noah, right?
Oh boy.
So in the days of Noah, you had a whole bunch of sexual perverts. They were sexual, and it was violent. Wicked and violent. That's what the word says.
Wow.
Wicked and violent. So these people, and it was filled with a lot of people, sexual deviants, y'all.
That should make our blood curl.
Right? The way it is going on today. And further to that point, if you think that these people, you don't want to underestimate these people, man. I'm telling you, don't want to underestimate them. These people are they're vengeful and wrathful. It's like it can ramp up in the street where they're just out there and they're just, you know, out of nowhere you can just get cold cocked, right? Before you can draw your gun.
Right.
All right. I'm just saying. You know, I hope if conservatives, I hope that you have more faith in God and willing to promote His word to take care of the sickness that's out there before you depend on your sidearm. You know, I'm pro Second Amendment and stuff like that, but you know, I'm gonna trust in God first because, like I said, sometimes you just don't know when somebody gonna sneak up on you, and you know they've been doing that. All right.
It's frightening.
So, and reason why I say this, y'all, is because what does the Word of God say? Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah. You know that city that had all those homosexuals, all those, you know, effeminate men and all that sort of stuff. The nations around them were afraid of them. All right. The nations cried out to him. These other nations are a bunch of heathens themselves. They were a bunch of heathens. And even they were like, God, can you come do something about these crazy people?
Yeah.
These people are crazy. They're oppressive. Right? You see these people out there, you know, with this gender confusion and wanting all this sort of stuff and all about LGBT and their allies and all that sort of stuff. You see how much of a squeaky wheel these people are? Mm-hmm. Don't underestimate these people, y'all. And of course, you know, and I'm not saying that there's nothing that God can't handle, but you know, writing them off like, you know, whichever, like because you think you have something in your own power that can do something about it, y'all. The Word of God says otherwise. Yeah. So
trust in Him.
You know, so that's why I'm saying, y'all. Why don't we start firing back in the culture instead of waiting for this stuff to really come to a head? Why don't we introduce something else? Connect with them the way that they've been brainwashed.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way of putting it.
You know, why aren't we delivering something else interesting to distract them from the stuff that's poisoning their minds? Yeah. We don't really support that. All right. So I hope we pray about it. You know, I've been saying it for years. And sorry if I sound like a broken record, but you know what? This crazy stuff that they're doing is like a broken record too.
Well, yeah.
That's the only reason why I keep saying it.
Their message never stops.
Yeah, they're relentless with their message. Yeah. So, you know, evil never sleeps. Well, the good, you know, the godly can't sleep either. We got to keep at it. Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to sleep on the Sabbath. Whatever day that is. Right? I'm kind of being facetious because we don't really, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, you know, about the Sabbath. Okay. I, Adonai, am a jealous God, and I know some people don't like that. God is jealous. Oh, he's childish. It's like, no, there's a protective kind of jealousy. All right? It's not the kind of jealousy where it's like he's like, no, it's a protective. It's like, look, I don't want you to get involved with stuff that's going to hurt you.
A protective jealousy.
It's a protective kind of jealousy.
Okay.
All right? And sometimes even to keep you from going down a road that's really going to hurt you, I may have to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like spanking your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
love.
Yeah, it's a parental kind of love, even a parental kind of jealousy. Even parents are jealous over their own kids. All right, there's a healthy kind of jealousy and there's an unhealthy kind of jealousy. God's jealousy is a healthy kind of jealousy. All right.
Maybe you should tweet that at Oprah.
Oprah. Let's see. All right, do not, let's see. For I, Adonai, am a jealous God, your God, am a jealous God, bringing the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Okay, really quick. Now, you can see that happen in the natural, but this is a natural thing that's ordained by God. It's like, look, man, that's just written into your behavioral code. Yeah. This is just how you're going to be. If your father is going to be an ungodly person, you know, and do this and do that and whichever, well, your kids are going to be messed up too. Oh gosh. Your kids are going to learn from you. And God's just like, hey, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm gonna visit iniquity on them to the third and fourth generation, because the way you screw up can mess up people 5 generations down the line, 4 to 5 generations down the line. Okay, hopefully, I hope that somewhere they connect with an influence that can help them break the cycle. Amen. But once this has been introduced to them, it's a hard cycle to break out. Ain't it? Yeah. Don't we see like generation after generation? It's like, you know, it's like, dang, you know, who messed your mind up? You know, well, I guess it was my dad. It was my mom and my dad. And then who messed their mind up? Well, I guess their mom and their dad. Who messed their mind up? I guess their mom and their dad. It's learned behavior. So this guy do we see it happen in the natural? Of course we do. Yeah. All right. So then from here, let's see. But showing loving kindness to the thousands generations of those who love and keep my mitzvot, And once again, it's like if you're able to go down that road, you know, and where they're at, y'all, they're in a community where God is. You know, God is the prevailing influence. Yeah. And they have no excuse to step out of that. You know, unfortunately some did, but it's like when you have God right there who's evident to you and he's prevailing influence, you stick with him just on and on down the line, is you just going to continue to be blessed. Yeah. You know? But of course in this world right now where our influence is, it's like you can get knocked off that path real easy, right? You got to really cling by faith. Oh, see, they had evidence to cling to. Oh, that's true, yeah. You know, that's the sad part about it. You know, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. They had this evidence to cling to. We don't have that evidence per se. Right. Our charge in this generation is faith. You know, because God's like, look, man, I'd already done the evidence thing. I'd have done it already. Look what happened. You know, and I already knew it. But unfortunately, it's you guys who need the pudding and the proof in the pudding and all that sort of stuff. And I have to show you guys the hard way. Yeah. You know, that's on you. That's not on me. It ain't like I didn't know, right? But I gotta follow certain protocols. Yeah. This is how it's gotta be. So then from there, let's take it to 7. You must not take the name of Adonai, your God, in vain, for Adonai will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Ooh. We can see that reflected in what did Jesus say? When they came to, oh, Lord, we was praying with you, and we was calling on your name and all that sort of stuff. And Jesus like, man, get away from me. I don't know you. I don't know where you come from. That's reflected in that. Why? Because these people were making up a Jesus of their own, you know, ideas. Yeah. They leaned on their own understanding for who they didn't seek him. Right? They didn't seek his counsel for who he is. When you have people like people who talk about there's multiple ways to Jesus. I'm a Christian, yeah, but you know I believe that you know there's multiple ways to get to heaven. I don't really believe that Jesus is the only way, and promote that. Well, that's a person who takes the name of God in vain. You're promoting a sinful idea. If you're the type of person who are like back in the days of like slavery, when you say that, oh, God is okay with slavery, we have the right to justify slavery. Look here where it says the word of God. God's like, don't bring my name into this. Wow. Yeah. Don't use my name. What did I tell you in the first? What was my first line to you? I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. I bring you out of slavery. Amen. It is my law that you're supposed to be free. Don't be using my name to justify slavery. That's taking God's name in vain. Wow. Right? Oh, are you saying that Jesus is all accepting and Jesus would be okay with gay marriage? Jesus like, ho, don't take my name in vain. Mm-hmm. I never told you that that's okay. Matter of fact, if you're a Christian, then that means that you believe that I'm God, right? And if you believe that I'm God, then you know that I'm the same person who is back in here. And what did I tell you about what happens to a man who lies down with another man? What I tell you? I gave you something so explicit that I shouldn't have to repeat myself. Yeah. I shouldn't have to repeat. But people try to say that. Well, Jesus doesn't say anything about gay marriage. Wait a minute. Yes, I have heard that. Yeah. What do you mean? Let's back up. Didn't we just agree that if you believe that Jesus is God, then you have to understand that he's the same God in the Old Testament. He's the same one. And what did he tell you? That is punishable by stoning. What else do I need to say? Do I need to say anything else about it? And I haven't changed my statutes on that. Or I haven't changed my views on what the sin is. How we deal with the sin is different. It's like, because we can't be going stoning gay people. All right? Yeah. So if you see a gay person in the street and stuff like that, don't you be throwing no rocks at them or anything like that. Okay? Okay? If you are, you're probably Islamic. Right? Don't do that. And it's because that's not something that we're promoting at all. The thing is, y'all, the Lord has already made his statute. And it's like, look, according to Paul, whom I'm in agreement with, that's why his statement is allowed in the canon. Paul says, homosexuals, effeminate men, you will not inherit the kingdom of God. Go ahead and do what it is that you're doing. You know, don't make no penalties against them or anything like that. That's not what we're supposed to do. Okay, love them as you would yourself. They're people. All right. I'm not trying to like remind people that they're people. It's like, oh no, I don't need to remind you. Their behavior is just messed up. All right, but respect them as human beings. You know, as you would anybody else. But the truth is, like, look, man, I just got to tell you the truth. I don't really think that it's right that you're forcing me to endorse your lifestyle. You know, You forced us into this, and it's not right. Any other rights as a human being, of course, but you don't want equal rights as a human being. You want special rights.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You want special treatment. That's something totally different.
Right.
All right, and just the special treatment that you want goes against my First Amendment rights. And my First Amendment rights are the right to free religious exercise.
Yes.
And my First Amendment rights do not intrude upon yours, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you to not be gay.
Amen.
Right?
Yep.
You say you want to be, that's on you. That's your business. But you can't force me to endorse it.
Right.
See? That's that balance of freedom that selfish people don't understand.
Gosh.
You want to be gay? Go ahead. That's your business. You can't force me to endorse it, though. You want to be, it's like if you're a man and you want to be seen as a woman, you go ahead and you be seen a woman, but you do not have the right to force me to acknowledge that. You're in a delusion. I know that you're a man. You're not going to drag me into your delusion and force me to say that you're a woman when I know that you're not.
Yeah.
Right? You can't force me to do that. According to God and the DNA code that he wrote for you, you are a male.
Yeah.
And that is the law that I will abide by. I'm not going to allow you to drag me into your perversion of the law.
Amen.
So, matter of fact, you don't even have law. You have lawlessness. And that's what the Lord warned us of.
Yes.
He warned us of that. Warned us of this lawlessness that's coming.
Right.
All right? So, let me see. Where we at? All right, y'all. This is the thing that's confused people for a long time. And it ain't going to stop until the Lord comes back.
Yeah.
8, remember your Shabbat to keep it holy. You are to work 6 days and do all your work. But the 7th day is a Shabbat to Adonai, your God. In it you shall do no work. Not you, nor your son, your daughter, your male servant, your female servant, your cattle, no outsider that is within your gates. For in 6 days God Adonai made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Thus Adonai blessed Yom Shabbat and made it holy. Okay, there's a lot to tear up in here. Not tear up, but
Chew on.
Chew on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, the thing about the Sabbath, y'all, nobody understands it. All right?
Yeah.
And not only does nobody understand it, nobody can do it. You can't do it. Here's the thing. And also here's why. Only in a perfect world could you actually follow this commandment. You'd have to live in a perfect world to do it. In this law is not just resting on the 7th day. What's included in this law is that you have to work 6 days. That's part of the commandment. Not just resting, but working. Now, can mankind in this world perfectly work 6 days a week? No. Something is going to interfere with that, y'all. We don't live in a perfect world. Something is going to get in the way of you working 6 days a week. And then we'll be in violation of the law.
Yeah.
All right?
That's true.
And the thing is, and don't get me wrong, because I know God makes certain exceptions. It's like, say, for instance, if somebody's like drowning or something like that, you're not supposed to let them drown just because it's, you're supposed to be resting. No, it doesn't work that way. But something is there's going to be something that's going to interfere with people working 6 days a week. And then that starts off a chain reaction. And then there's going to be all these and then who's going to be able to say what justification there is or isn't to be able to skip a day?
Right.
Who can do that? Only in a perfect world can you actually work 6 days a week. It can't happen.
Yeah, where no accidents can happen or anything.
Right? No accidents, your kid don't get sick or something like that, or weather or whichever.
Something at work.
Something's going to go down. But see, here's the thing, y'all. This commandment could go down here because God was there. God was there to be able to make it facilitate people. Yeah, you can work 6 days a week. Oh, what, you wake up. Oh man, I got the sniffles. I think I caught a cold or something like that. You better get on your face and say, "Hey, Lord, I'm not feeling too," because God is there.
Yeah.
He's right there. Ain't no excuse.
Wow.
It's like, God, man, as you wake up, I don't feel like going to work today. Oh, let me say my prayers. God, I pray that you give me the strength and let me get that cup of coffee and that scone so I go ahead and get on to work. God be like, show you right. You feel better now, don't you? Yeah, matter of fact, I do. Off to work I go. Hey, in a perfect, where God is, yeah, we could totally do that. There ain't gonna be no sickness. You know, you wake up sick, God can take care of that. Yeah? Does the weather suck? Yeah, God can take it. God, Jesus had already showed, yeah, I can calm the storm. So it ain't gonna be no snow day. There's nothing that will be able to keep you from going to work because God was there. But the thing is, y'all, we're not in that time now. Yeah. All right? None of us can keep the Sabbath. We can't keep this full law. We can't work 6 days a week. And the thing is, y'all, and somebody, I got rebuked. I got rebuked for saying that that Jesus is anti-religious, right? As I said, don't steal my idea. I want to get shirts made. One of these days when I get some seed money and I get the supporters that I need that 300, y'all, and I get this stuff going on, I want to get a shirt made. Jesus or Yeshua, the original Freedom from Religion Foundation. You know that's a hot shirt. Don't steal my idea. If you steal I want my cut. All right. One of these days I'm gonna get these shirts made. You know, make that cultural connection.
I like that.
Might get in some fights over that, but you know.
Probably will.
But you know, that's a hot shirt. You know it would be. But the thing is, y'all, nobody understands the Sabbath, and if you don't understand the Sabbath, you should not build a religion on it. Like you got Seventh-day Adventists. Stop it. You built a religion on something that nobody really understands. Mm-hmm. Okay? And Jesus, being the original Freedom from Religion Foundation, you know that he doesn't like, it's like some people will say that, well, Jesus was a devout Jew. Of course he was pro-religion. He was a devout Jew. I was like, no. Let me tell you why even Jesus being a devout Jew is not a religion. Because a religion is a set of stipulations or policies, and you have to abide by these policies. If you don't, then you are out of step with your religion, and you're going to have to do penance or something like that. Yeah. Okay, Jesus didn't do what he did because the law told him to. Jesus did what he did out of love. Love is not a religion.
Oh, wow.
Love is liberation.
Amen.
The word of God is liberating. Love is liberating. Okay? Jesus didn't answer to a religion. So the reasons why Jesus could fulfill the reason why it isn't just because Jesus did everything the law said to do. Jesus, coming in and making sure that he answered every letter of the law. You think that's why Jesus was the fulfillment of the law? Jesus wasn't the fulfillment of the law because he answered every law. The reason why Jesus was the fulfillment of the law is because Jesus was able to do everything he did out of love.
Oh, wow.
That's why. That is the fulfillment of the law. The ultimate fulfillment of the law. When you get that it's love that does it. Wow. Not because, I got to do this, because if I don't, I'm going to have to pay a penalty. Because even though Jesus knew that he had to pay a penalty, he did that so you know he did it out of love.
Yes.
Because Jesus paid the ultimate penalty for all of us. And the only reason why he did that is because of love. Wow. That's why he did it. And that ain't no religion. It was religion that killed him.
Amen. Amen.
Jesus is not pro-religion. You can say he was a devout Jew all you want. But his adherence to the law was out of love, not out of fear of penalty. Because even despite the penalty that he was going to face, he still went. And what drove him to that? Love. That's why he did it. So no, Jesus is not religious. And those of us who follow Jesus are not religious. Amen. Right? So I don't know. I don't know what you would call us. I don't know what you call it. But religious ain't one. Don't insult us. No. We're free from religion.
Amen.
We're free from it. Thank you, Yeshua. We are free from religion.
Right.
We're his. So
yeah, no burdens.
So anyway, like I said, so the idea to build a religion on the Sabbath is not a good idea. All right. So let's see. Honor your father and your mother. It's another a commandment that's grossly misunderstood. We think that honoring our father and mother just means I don't know what it means. Like you're supposed to be like this. No matter what your parents do, it's okay, right? You're supposed to not have any sort of aversions to what it is that your parents might do. Everything that they do is okay, and you're not supposed to question them or anything like that.
That's how we were taught,
right? That's not what this means. Okay, You know what? I'm sorry. Let me back up before I get into that. Whoo. This we're gonna get into the weeds. All right, we're gonna get into the weeds here. Where it says 11, for in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Thus Adonai blessed Yom Shabbat and made all his holy. It's like, so if those who have been like, following along with my studies, this sounds like I'm in some serious contradiction here, because I'm of the closest I could put to it is that people call it the gap theory, right? That somewhere between Genesis 1, verse 1 through 3, that there was a time span between that and the first day. Okay, now the reason why I say that, y'all, is because let's be clear. I do not try to fit what I think God could do in a certain period of time. God don't need my help. If God says that it was 6 days, then it was 6 days.
Amen.
All right. The supposed discrepancy is, what do those 6 days mean? Was it 6 days of creation, or was it 6 days of restoration? I am of the opinion, based on what I've read, not based on what I think God can or cannot do.
And not based on what man has taught you.
Right. Not based on any of that, only because of what I've read. That I believe that the 6 days are 6 days of restoration, not 6 days of creation. Okay? So like I said, when you look at Ezekiel and you look at Isaiah, you see that there was an earth here before. When you break down, when God was moving over the face of the waters, when you break down what that means, it means that he was looking over the waste. There has to have been something here before something can be wasted. There was an earth here before. There was kingdoms here before. It tells you in Ezekiel and Isaiah that Lucifer had kingdoms here. He was violent in his trade. What was he most likely trading? That's another discussion. Yeah. But he had kingdoms and he had trades. There was hosts here. There was organic matter here. And that organic matter, whether it was some form of intelligent life, because you had heavenly hosts that occupied, immortals that were occupying the earth, and they had kingdom and they had trades. But there was also organic, intelligent life here. And all of it must have been an abomination to God, because he destroyed it all. That is what you look at when you open up the first page of the Bible. It says that he was moving over the face of the deep. When you break that down, it means wasteland. Something was here and something was destroyed. That was the actual first flood. All right. So why am I saying this? Because it says in here, for in 6 days Adonai made. Well, so if it says in 6 days he made the heaven and earth, well, so then that totally offsets what it is that you've been saying. Okay. In Genesis, it gives you this 6 day period. In Genesis, the word for made or create is different. It's a different word. The connotation for that is when it's talking about Genesis and God created the heavens and earth, because people take it to mean that God's created and he made them at the same time. No, he didn't make them at the same time. He created the heavens and the earth. Yes, he didn't make them at the same time. Just like Adam and Eve weren't made at the same time. First came Adam, and then after Adam came Eve. God made Adam and Eve, but he didn't make them at the same time. Yeah. All right? Sure. God made heaven and earth. He didn't make them at the same time. All right, but these things begin with God. We know that these things weren't just made because the Bible repeatedly says that God laid the foundations of the universe. The sons of God were there. The sons of God were created first to witness God laying the foundation of the universe, meaning that all this stuff was a process. Wow. The things that we know, that we see in the natural and that we can observe and how they're made and how they come about. Yeah, God laid the foundation for all that stuff. All right, so when you look at the word in the Hebrew in Genesis, it's saying that God, the word for made is that God made these things from scratch. Oh, wow. It's like when you read it, it says he cut out. It's like it's saying that these things were made from scratch. Basically out of nothing, God made these things. He started the foundations of the universe and put these things into play so the universe could form. All right. In this, when it says that, and rested, let me see. Adonai made heaven and earth, For in 6 days God made heaven and earth. What that's saying is this. The word in here for made is different. It doesn't really mean made. The word, I think it's, let's see, one of them is bara and another one is, forgive me, I don't remember. But I do remember the connotation of it though. The connotation of it is he worked. It's not he created. When you look at the word, it's not that it's something that he created. It's more like he did a work. All right? Not that he started something and began it, but it was a work that he performed. So for 6 days, God did a work. For 6 days, God did a work in heaven and on earth. When you look at it from what the connotation of the word, supposed word for made means, it's saying that God did this work. Which means, because even when you look at it, it says that it is a broad, generalized word. It's like a primitive, archaic way of saying a work performed. But it doesn't mean made. The word made is introduced in here because, yeah, it fits. But it doesn't get down to the core of what it really means. It really means a work performed. Right? Now, you have to put that into context with everything else that shows that, yeah, God was basically doing a restorative work. Right? Now, is this far-fetched from the character of God? No, because the word of God even tells you. It tells you in Revelation. Remember, y'all, Revelation isn't just telling you about what's coming. Revelation gives you insight into what was. So when you're trying to figure out, well, was there an earth here or not? Well, Revelation tells you. The Revelation-themed stories tells you how that works. Was there an earth here? Yes, but it was restored. The earth is going to be destroyed again.
Amen.
And it's going to be restored. It is not out of the character of God to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So, like I said, the sons of God were there. They witnessed God lay the foundations of the universe. God wants you to know that the earth has been here for a long time. It's been here for who knows something, millions, billions of years. It's been here. Because God wants you to know the power of God isn't just God. Oh, bam, here it is. Here's the universe and stuff like that. Maybe it's just me, but that would be impressive. It would be. But there's something more hardcore than that. To know that God, think about this, y'all. God has always been. Yeah. He's always been. He's the uncreated. He's always been here. Always. They just think about this It's like I feel like my brain just kind of go, He's always been here. Okay? So God has had enough time to orchestrate the formulation of the universe. It's a weird thing. Maybe you guys have heard me talk about this before. Scientists, when they keep trying to dial back the Big Bang, and we know that the Word of God says that God spreads out the heavens like a tent, right? Yeah. Which means that it had to be in a collapsed state and then expanded. And not only that, the Word of God says He spreads out the heavens like a tent, meaning that the universe is still expanding. Right? And
present tense.
Right? And we see that in our scientific studies now, right? The universe is still expanding. So, so now what the scientists are they're trying to solidify this Big Bang theory, right? They're trying to, compress it and get back down to the micro nanosecond of like when it happens. So check this out. With the Big Bang, when the universe opens up, as they let the clock go from there. One of the things that they claim is that the universe was, as it's expanding in its initial state, it's the heat is immense heat. All the elements are broken down. There's nothing stable, right? No atoms can stay together. It's that hot, right? From this compressed state, and everything just opens up. Now, the Word of God has already told us that when He does this whole thing, when he flash pasteurizes the universe and He starts over, He says that everything is going to melt down from the heat.
Oh, yeah.
Everything down to the elemental level. It says it in the Word of God. Everything to the elemental level. All the elements will melt down with the heat. The Word of God already told us this. All right. So, and not only that, the Word of God has told us that He opens up the heavens. He's spread it out like a tent. Now, also, because you got to think of This is a compressed state, right? This singularity from where the Big Bang opens up, right? This singularity that's who knows how small. When it opens up, not only is space compressed, everything is in a state of compression. Everything is compressed, including time, which means that there's a time decompression, right? So which means that when this universe, boom, when this universe opens up, y'all, the time compression is unraveling, which means that all these things are forming together at unfathomable speed. Yeah. Because time is decompressing. So something that would normally take like a billion or a million, let's not get too far ahead of it, a million years, right? Let's say it takes a million years. It's happening in a matter of seconds because time is decompressing. A million years is passing by in seconds. Galaxies, solar systems are forming and galaxies are forming and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying that this is what happened. I'm just saying that this is what scientists are concluding. Mm-hmm. Scientists are making the claim, right? It's like this time. It's like, really? So you can believe that these millions of years can pass within seconds, and that this decompression of time where the universe could be forming in a matter of days, but you have a hard time believing that God created the world in 6 days?
Right.
All right? So now, once again, I am of the restoration theory that God restored the world in 6 days. It was judged, and if my dude Wade is watching, I hope he's watching. Wade is the bass player in my 20-pound sledge. Wade got me on this. It's your fault, Wade, if you're watching. And Wade, man, he's an awesome man of God, and we want to talk about a culture warrior. The guy's an awesome bassist. He's a school teacher, and he counsels prisoners. I mean, pray for my dude Wade, and pray that we can get 20-pound sledge all together, because this guy walks it like he talks it. All right, he's the real deal, so I'm so thankful that I've got is a friend, a brother, and that he's in 20-pound sledge, and we want to get back out there and rock the gospel. But anyway, we were studying, and Wade turned, he got my wheels turning when he says, yeah, the Jordan where Yeshua was baptized, the Jordan is it means judgment, and when he said that, I was like, wait a minute. wait a minute. That's it, man. That's it. And I won't, because we'll get too far out there. And get the book. All right, just get the book, and you'll hear more about how it ties into baptism and the 6 day in the 6 day restoration period. You'll see why, how I came to that conclusion. Like I said, it's your fault, Wade. Your fault.
I think Wade is here. Hi, Wade.
Right on, man. Right on. Okay. So, let's see. We were talking about honoring your father. Now let's get into honoring our father and mother. Honoring your
taking a right turn.
Honoring your father and your mother isn't being accepting of everything that your father and mother's like. Say, for instance, because we got some people, their father and their mother, or even if they don't know some people don't know their father, right? Yeah. Got deadbeat dads. It's like, how are we supposed to honor them?
Yeah.
I wasn't taught honor by them. Right? How do I honor them, God? My father's on drugs, and he left us and divorced my mom, and he was this and he was that and all that sort of stuff. Or your mom, it's like, she's an alcoholic and she's this, and how am I supposed to honor that, God?
People struggle with that.
Y'all, because that's not what it means. Okay? Honor your mother and father means that you, upon your age of accountability, all right, and I know that even that is kind of arbitrary, and you can chalk the age of accountability basically up to puberty. All right,
yeah.
That at that stage it's a very reasonable. It's because even as you get into the Jewish teaching and stuff like that, manhood, adulthoods, this bar mitzvah and bar mitzvah and stuff like that. It's around 13 or something like that. Generally, when you think, but there's no absolute mark on it. But I would posit to you, and I'm not saying this from a biblical standpoint, but I'm just, suggesting that around puberty is your age of accountability. But basically what this comes down to, when it says honor your father and mother, what that means is that you should live a life. You should behave. You should conduct yourself in a way that when people meet you, they should be like, man, you was raised right. Yeah. Anybody who meets you one of the things that should come to their mind is that you must have the best parents, man. Your dad must, man, your dad must have been a really cool dude, man. You know, his character just must be awesome. Everybody must have loved him, right? Or your mother. You know, your mom just must have been, wow, she must be an incredible lady. That is what people should think about that's honoring your father and your mother. When they meet you, they got to think that your parents are like the best people in the world. All right? Before even meeting your parents, they should already be like, wow, if they ever meet you, say, you did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Right? That's honoring your father and your mother. You should conduct yourself in a way that even if they're extreme knuckleheads, they should be like, you know, I didn't do anything with my life, but, you know, wow. Thank you, God, for how you turned out. I'm glad that you didn't end up like me. Even your own folks, if you're, like, say for instance, if your folks, if you got a parent in jail or something like that, and you go to see like, you want to go visit your dad in jail or something like that, your dad and it says, man, you know what? I'm sorry about how, you know, I wish I could have been a better role model or father to you or something like that, you know, and but you know what, I hope you never end up like me. I hope you never end up like here. You go and you do something with your life. I'll be praying for you. It's like that's bringing honor to your father.
Amen.
Even though your father didn't live an honorable life or anything like that, if your father has or your mother has any decency at all, they should at least see it in your characters. Like, man, I don't know where you learned that from, because you certainly didn't learn it from me. You didn't learn it from me. But wow. Yeah. You know, at least I'm glad to say that you're my kid. You know, that is honoring your father and your mother. Okay, honoring your father and mother isn't overlooking the sins that they've done.
Right.
It's not just
That's
being
what we're taught.
Yeah, just all accepted. So you better not say anything, but don't you question me, or don't you do that. I'm your father, or I'm your mother, and you better not. You know, it's like, no, it's okay. Look, you got a drinking problem. I'm your mother, I'm your father, I'm your mother. You don't tell me this is my house and all that sort of stuff. It's like, well, okay, I'm just telling you the truth. You know, I'm not trying to sass you or backtalk you or anything. You might, you know, or you got a smoking problem, or you got a drug problem, you know, or you just sleeping around a lot, or whichever. So it's like, just tell them the truth. You know, I don't have to honor what it is that you're doing. What you're doing is not respectable. You know, I'm gonna tell you in the most respectful way that I can. You know, but I'm just telling you the truth. You know, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do it. I'm you know, I'll go to school and I'll do this and I'll do that. You know, I'll do what I'm supposed to do and try to conduct myself like a good citizen. You know, but it doesn't mean that what you're doing I have to honor.
Or, honey, we've got the opposite end of the spectrum where somebody has tyrants as a parents, and when they're older, they think that they're just supposed to kiss their parents' bottom for everything they do, and they think that's honoring.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not. That's a gross misread. You know, because the Word of God also says, do not provoke your children to wrath, but raise them up in the instruction of the Lord. Right? So we have, and don't get me wrong, man, this doesn't mean, because you can't treat your parents any old way. The Word of God says, look, I'll have you killed for that. You know, you gonna curse I'm sorry, did you curse at your parents? Are you cursing your parents? Did you hit them? Oh, take him outside the gate and stone him. He gotta die. You gotta purge the evil from your village. Right? But, you know, like I said, y'all, making excuses for your folks, or, you know, because that's a one-way ticket to carry on their behavior too. Yeah. You know, you go, it's like when people talk about like, oh, I don't want to be just like my parents, you know, or you know, they make excuses for them, one or the other. It's like, you don't want to make excuses for them, or you don't want to be like them and stuff like that. Chances are you're going to end up just like them. Right? That's one of the reasons why it says back here, just to back it up, I will revisit the iniquities of your parents on the third and fourth generation. If they're apart from me, you gonna feel it, and your kids gonna feel it, and so on. All right. Okay. So let's see. Honor your father and mother, so that your days may be long upon the land which Adonai your God is giving you. Right. So, you know, chances are, you know, you decent to your folks, you're gonna be decent to other people, and you'll fare well for that. Okay. Let's see. Do not murder. And it is murder. You know, people be trying to say that, you know, the more pious or, you know, self-righteous, you know, feel-goodism, you know, Christian or whichever, you were in the liberal, the godless liberal, try to lean on this and say, your Bible says, you know, thou shalt not kill. So, okay, well, why are you so pro-abortion? Anyway, you know, but for some reason they'll apply that to the death penalty.
Yes.
No war. You can't have death penalty. You can't have war because the Bible says do not kill. It's like, no, it doesn't. It says do not murder. All right. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between killing and murdering. You know, like say for instance, when God sent Israelites to go take out them Canaanites and stuff like that. That wasn't a murder campaign. God wasn't sending them to go murder, and God had them kill everybody, women, children, livestock, all of it. Why? Because these people were murderers. Their culture was a deeply oppressive culture. You know, sick, man. I'm talking about, you know, once again, child sacrifice, sacrificing virgins, sexual entitlements, bestiality, flipping necrophilia, you name it. These people were just out there, man. Full on sick stuff, you know, and they were spreading disease. And that's why he had to have the livestock killed. We talk about how it is today with people with their bad farming practices and how animals are pumped with hormones and all the unclean, you know, animals and then being kept in cages and all that sort of stuff. This ain't a new thing.
Right.
This been going on. This was going on back then. How they would, how animals were bred, how animals were raised, what they ate, the detestable practices that they did with their livestock and their vegetation. All this ain't. We talk about GMOs and stuff like that. This stuff been going on back then.
That's true.
They was always doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Plowing the ground the way they're not supposed to.
Right.
Doing different kind of animals to plow their ground. They weren't supposed to do that. Flipping nasty stuff that they would do to grow their crops and whatnot. God's like, burn it all. Burn it all. Scorched earth, baby. That's where God was at with it, because all that stuff spread disease and it spread problems.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, Rebecca was heartbroken because Esau married a Canaanite woman.
Right?
Because
they was out there, man. It was really out there. So God is saying, and in that, God's like, yeah, you're going to have to punish them, even with death. But that's not murder, right? It's war. That was war. So let's see. Now, of course, it was like, well, war is murder. It's like, you guys, you just don't understand. You know, it's like they were sent to kill murderers, right? If they didn't, murder would have been on murder on murder on murder.
Right.
They had to come and cut that off. You know, let's like Barney Fife says, come and nip it in the bud. You know, they had to put a stop to it. All right, big difference. Do not commit adultery. So self-explanatory. Now, no. Okay, this is what people need to understand about this too. When it talks about do not commit adultery, people just think that means don't cheat on your spouse. It's like, no. Do not commit adultery means do not have sex with anybody who is not your spouse. Okay, that's a little bit different. All right, people are only taking that to mean it's like, okay, you're married and don't cheat on your spouse, which of course it does mean that. Okay, that's kind of like the top. That's the top of it. But it's basically saying that if you're not married to that person, yeah, I'll even call that adultery. If you're having some sex with someone or something that is not your spouse, because that's what all that stuff leads to. If you're doing something that is outside of what I designed for you for sex, yeah, I consider that adultery.
Wow.
All right. So now we'll read it like where the Lord says, you know, you'll say, even if you look upon a person with lust, that's still adultery. Yeah. Y'all, we got to be careful with that, because I can guarantee you that, you know, your wife, before she was your wife, you was already looking at them like, I can't wait for our wedding night. Yeah. So, okay, you know what I'm saying? We was there. We was already there. And you know what, y'all, that's okay. It's, you know, in that connotation, it's when you're looking at somebody who is not your spouse. All right? It's okay for you to be attracted to another person. You know, like if you're, you know, you're looking for a wife. You know, and that's, I mean, I can assure you, it's like, well, I'm in big trouble if you know, if what people think that says that means what it says. I'm in big trouble. I was looking at Carrie like, oh man, you know, I was like, Nancy ain't watching this. You know, I mean, some serious trouble. It's no, but the Lord's like, I don't blame. You know, I broke the mold, cuz I know I get you, man. You know, so anyway, right? So, having sexual relations outside of what God designed is a no-no for God. That's what he's saying. Now, and when you realize that you're doing it, You gotta stop it. That's why God says, "Don't go forth and sin no more." Because remember, He called out that one woman. How many husbands you got? And she's like, "Well, the husbands." It's like, yeah. She's like, You know, and even the girl, you know, who was about to be stoned and stuff like that. It's like, yeah. You're having sex outside of what I designed for it. Won't you knock that off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
So, you know, I don't think I'm too far speaking out of school about what we're talking about here with adultery. Do not steal. This goes back to what was I saying? Right now, and people they think that, you know, you have some liberals out there that think that God, you know, missed the mark, you know, when it came to making the 10 Commandments, because God didn't include rape. Shouldn't rape, thou shalt not rape, in being the 10 Commandments? And shouldn't slavery? What kind of a God doesn't include slavery and not having slavery in the 10 Commandments?
How dare you?
How dare you? There's actually a prominent feminist, and I can't remember what her name is. She actually tried to call out God in the 10 Commandments on this. I think I did a video on it too. Trying to talk about how God, you know, missed the mark when it came to war. Why didn't God put in thou shalt not have war? And why didn't God include thou shalt not have slavery? And thou shalt not have rape and stuff like that? Wow. Your God is a failed God because He didn't mention those things. It's like, hold on, wait. Okay, thou shalt not have rape, and thou shalt not have slavery. God covered that. Did you miss it? Okay, first up, it's in the first commandment. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. I bring you out of slavery. Slavery is against the law with me.
Amen.
If you have somebody in slavery, you're breaking my law.
Yes.
Matter of fact, it even says in the Word of God that if you kidnap somebody for your own business or to sell to somebody else, that's punishable by death. And maybe they missed that whole Exodus thing, right? They missed that whole Exodus thing. God went to war against Egypt. God Himself went to war against Egypt over slavery.
Yeah.
All right. So when you're talking about slavery, what are you doing? You're stealing somebody's liberty, aren't you? Amen. Thou shalt not steal. That's covered, right? Wow. God's already got it covered. He's smarter than you. All right. Thou shalt not rape. What is rape? Rape is stealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Raping is enslaving somebody. And didn't God say, I brought you out of bondage? It's against the law for you to oppress somebody. Rape is oppressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? God's already got that covered. All right? So it's like people be looking for these things. It's like, yeah. It's all in. When you might want to read the whole Bible,
right?
You know, instead of trying to just cherry pick and put it all.
What she was trying to do is make it longer, and she doesn't even want to read it as it is.
Exactly. You know, and you know, what's that thing that George Carlin's got this classic thing where he takes all the 10 Commandments and he consolidates them down to one. It's like, ooh, George, you're so brilliant. Jesus already did that. You know, He did it already. He came and fulfilled the law. What was the fulfillment of the law? Love.
Yeah.
Right? Love, because love is the thing that keeps you from murdering people. Yeah. God's love. Yeah. Not our love. His love.
Right.
Right? You lean on God to learn how to love. And with that love, you won't murder, you won't steal, you won't commit adultery, you won't have any other gods before you. You'll honor your father and your mother. You won't covet, you won't do these things. Woo. Why? Because of love. Yes. Love keeps you from doing these things. God already fulfilled the law, George Carlin. Right? Everybody think George Carlin's all brilliant because of that thing that he did. It's like, man, Jesus already done it. He beat you to it, son. All right? So anyway, do not steal. And this also goes back to, did not we give these gods authority? Are we not bowing down to them? Because we have given them the power to steal from us. They're stealing our income right now. They're not supposed to do that. It's not constitutional and it's against the word of God. They're stealing from us. They steal your income. That's your fruits. They're not supposed to have any ownership of it. That's your money. Yeah. Right? But we got an income tax and we've made it legal for them to steal from us. And people try to bring up the render under season. That's not what that means. Not what it means. Once again, Jesus is bringing them back to the commandments. Because what did I'll just refresh you guys' memory. What did Jesus say? Let me see that coin. Right? Don't you think it's kind of weird if they come and ask him about a taxation question, he wants to look at their money? Let me see that coin. Why did he want to see the coin? Because the coin had the engraven image of a false god on it. God was calling them out for idolatry. That's why he wanted to see that coin, because on that coin it says, worshipful son of the god Augustus. And Jesus like, you call this a god? Okay. Yeah. So render unto Caesar what is Caesar and render unto God what is God. Did Caesar give you, what it is that you have? No, God did.
Amen.
That's why. So when Jesus is saying, render unto Caesar what is Caesar, which is nothing. You want to pay tribute to Caesar? Really? All right. Now, You pay taxes, sure, but not those, because you might have noticed that Jesus had a special disliking for tax collectors.
Yeah.
Right? I think he called out tax collectors before he called out prostitutes. It's kind of same. Right? What's the two oldest professions?
Right?
Yeah. So, Jesus like, I got a special problem with tax collectors because they've come to take your money. Right? They're coming to steal from you. That's not how you tax people. Does Jesus want us, are we expected to pay taxes? Yeah, we got to pay taxes, just not like that. There's a tax model that we're supposed to follow to facilitate the government to be able to protect us and stuff. Model. Right? Jesus like, if you're going to have the protection of the state, there is a tax model that you have to follow to do that. But that tax model should not include the state stealing from you.
Your first fruits. Yeah.
Right? That's not how you're supposed to be taxed. All right? So, thou shalt not steal. We're under that. Do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Now, also with that's another commandment that's grossly misunderstood. And we've been taught to think that it means do not lie. That's not what it means. All right, you can lie and save somebody's life. That's a good thing. Right? What was that cat? Bonhoeffer or something like that? Yeah. You got any Jews here? Nope. No Jews here.
Exactly.
Lied. Saved some people's lives. Right? Underground Railroad. You got any slaves hiding up in here? Nope. No slaves. Yeah. Right? Risk their lives to tell that lie. Okay?
So true.
So that's a good thing. See, a lie can be good, right? A lie can be a good thing, but we're not talking about that. What this is talking about, and it's telling you flat out, it says, "Do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Do not slander." That is the problem. You can lie and actually help somebody, right? Or it can't be like a deceptive lie, a lie that has whether it's malicious intent, to lie for somebody, like, say, for instance, what's going on with Hunter Biden, right? A whole bunch of lies, trying to protect his son. There's a whole bunch of lying going on right there. Yeah. That's not because that's a deceptive tongue. God hates a deceptive tongue.
Right.
And that is the kind of lying God don't dig.
Yeah, and hearts that plan lies.
Right.
God hates.
But in this is something else. This is slander. That's what this is talking. Do not bear false witness against your neighbor. That's slander. Murder can follow that. When you look at all the commandments, y'all, the thing about the commandments, y'all, when you look at them all, what did they all end in? Well, they end in you going to hell. But they all lead to murder. All of them. All right? You steal from somebody, that can lead to murder. Commit adultery, that can lead to murder. Right? Worshiping other gods. Sacrifice, that can lead. Will people kill somebody for money? Yeah. Will governments have people be talking about like corporations and stuff like, look at the corporations, they kill people. Corporations don't kill people. Corporations may give you something to kill yourself with, unfortunately, right? But governments kill people, not corporations. All right? Amen. So unless they get into bed together and you got, this crony, capitalism, which is, capitalism, and has like an incestuous relationship with its ugly sister socialism, or a crony capitalism, something like that. But capitalism itself is fine. When you get this crony capitalism thing where the government and the corporation, that's when you get something ugly. That's when you get an ugly kid. All right? So that's something totally different. But, when we're talking about, let me see, do not bear your false witness against your neighbor. That's slander. Oh, what I was saying was when you get murder, that follows all these things. All right? Mm-hmm. You covet somebody else's stuff. You want somebody else's stuff bad enough, you probably kill for it. Right? Yeah. Leads to murder. You worshiping other gods. Sacrifice, whether it's money, you'll sacrifice somebody's lives for money, stuff like that. Dishonoring your father and mother, you live a dishonorable life. I can guarantee you, if you're a murderer, that definitely brings dishonor to your folks.
Right?
Right? You're a murderer, you're a rapist and stuff like that. That's very dishonoring to your folks. So dishonoring your father and mother. Well, I'm pretty sure if you ask a lot of prison inmates who are murderers, what kind of relationship did you have with your folks? Well, I killed my, chances are that's going to lead and end up in murder too. Yeah. So all of these things, you go down the line, they all end up in murder, right? And then we come to do not covet your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. Covetousness definitely leads to murder. You want somebody's stuff bad enough, you probably kill them for it. All right. Yeah. Now, also, once again, covetousness is policy. Our tax laws, true. These revenue laws that we have are based in covetousness. It's all based on people saying this person has enough money. They can part with it. They should spread the wealth. What is all that? That's covetousness. I'm entitled to some of that person's money. They make enough. They make too much, or whichever. And then you got politicians who go in there and pander to them and then make laws to get into the pocket of the wealth creators, the people who give the jobs and stuff like that. Covetousness. We're being ruled by that, y'all.
We are.
And we're not supposed to be. Do not have other gods before you, and do not let anybody make you bow down to them. We're being made to bow down to these laws made by men, these earthen gods that we have, these authorities, these so-called statesmen, right? And all the people witnessed the thundering and the lightning, the rock concert, and the sound of the shofar, and the mountain smoking. When the people saw it, they trembled and stood far off. So they said to Moses, you speak to us, and we will listen. But do not let God speak to us, or we will die. Too late. You ain't got no excuse now. You didn't heard it. You didn't heard it for yourselves. Because that's why they didn't want God to say it. Because they know, if God, like I said from the garden, God himself gave this information to Adam. That's why Adam had no excuse. And he was right there. He was right there when the serpent was talking to Eve. He was right there. He wasn't someplace else. If he was someplace else, he would have had an excuse. Well, I didn't know what was going on. He was standing right there. Right?
Yep.
Watch the whole thing go down. And God's like, you ain't got no excuse, man. Y'all gonna die. You gonna die. There's no excuse for that. And it's the same thing right here. God is like, I have given you the law. In the witness of my angels, as you'll read where in the Bible, it says the angels were given, the law given by the angels. The angels were there to testify that, yep, God gave you the law. Gave you the law. You ain't got no excuse. Right? So, but that's why then I say, no, man, don't let God speak to us, because we'll die. If we stray from the law. You tell us. That way, at least we've got some, a cushion, or something. We and we can say that, oh, we didn't hear him. Moses wasn't speaking loud enough. You can come up with some sort of excuse to say that you didn't hear it from Moses. All right.
So they were trying to manipulate with this?
Wow. It'll work. All right. So Moses said to the people, do not be afraid, for God has come to test you, so that his fear may be in you, right? Get that fear. Get the fear of God in you, right? So that you do not sin. Because, the thing is, y'all, God is there. And you ain't got no excuse. You ain't got no excuse to sin. None, right? Not only should you be afraid to sin, it's like you don't have any excuse to. You're not gonna want for anything. Yeah. As long as you express to God that you're grateful, because they was out there, they get bored with what they want. Manna and all that sort of stuff. It's like, rather than grumbling, oh, manna, we could go back to Egypt and eat fish, instead of complaining all the time, be like, hey, Lord, man, thank you that you give us, the bread. I mean, we get to eat what angels get to eat, man. This is awesome. Hey, but hey, God, but you think next time maybe we can have some cheese on it? Can you put some cheese on it? We want to make some grilled cheese sandwiches. Can we have that? I mean, because this is awesome, God. Man, it'd be really awesome if we have some cheese. If they would have just came to God with it, but they never noticed, they never came, like they would, but the gratitude wasn't really in their heart.
A grateful heart, yeah.
Because they would, it's like, they'd be all, oh, Yahweh did this, and yeah, he's so good, and all of a sudden, man, I wish we could go back to it. It's like they weren't genuine. It wasn't really at their core to be genuinely grateful. And God knew it, right? But if they stayed with that attitude of gratitude, they would have been a little bit more excited about their food. Instead of just sending manna, God might have sent a menu. What you guys want today? Let me know. It would have been like the menus that they hand out the sushi restaurant. Oh, I know, I want the rainbow roll. And all that, decide what kind of what you want wrapped up in it and all that sort of stuff. Actually, no, man, it's rainbow roll. No, I think that's got crab meat in it. No, you can't have no crab, no shellfish. You can't have no shellfish. Right. It's like, you can have, let's see, what kind of fish could they have?
Oh, Brian Dale Rainsberger. What if God rained pizza?
That's, you know what I'm saying?
That's the best thought ever.
That's it. Yeah, now you on it. You on it, something, right? You'd be like, what is this, manna? With extra cheese? Yeah, with some sausage? Well, no, it can't be sausage. That's pig.
It could be beef sausage.
It could be beef sausage, right? It could be like the clean meat special. I don't know, something like the kosher. Yeah, right? The extra thin crust kosher. I'm getting hungry, man. You can tell I'm getting hungry.
It always leads to food.
I want the foods. Okay. So let's see. So Moses said to the people, okay, we read that already. So that you do not sin.
We're asking him to
21.
Be that cushion.
All right, the people stood far off. Yeah, Moses. All right, the people stood far off while Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was. Man, makes me think of what? Oh man, you know what that makes me think of? That makes me think of Transfiguration, man. That's what that makes you think of. When that cloud came in and they saw, hey man, you need us to build some tents for Moses and Elijah. This makes you think of that. Because, they entered the cloud and who they see? Moses and Elijah. This just reminds me of that. It's like, Moses, I'm going to go ahead and step into the cloud, man. Right? Go ahead and step into the club. All right, so say this to B'nai Yisrael. You yourselves have seen that I have spoken to you from heaven. Right there. You got no excuse.
Yeah.
I have spoken to you from heaven. All right. Do not make gods of silver alongside me. And just real quick, I want to recap in case anybody didn't hear. Remember, y'all, this thick cloud, right? This is God. God comes as that thick cloud. What did Jesus say to set off the Sanhedrin? When you see the Son of Man coming on the clouds, right? He's letting you know. That's why because dude, you're trying to put yourself on level with God, man. And she said, yeah, I'm him. Just as God came to you on the cloud and settled on the mountain, that's how I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come in great glory on the clouds.
Amen.
Jesus is always letting you know who he is by telling you who he was.
Oh, that's
right?
Good.
And the Sanhedrin, when they heard that, they got lit. Right? Because that truth just hit them. It was like, oh, he's telling the truth. I hate you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's what happens. You either hate or love.
Yep,
receive it.
Yep, because they knew at the end of the day, they knew it's like, man, he was an innocent man.
They did say he was innocent.
Yeah.
We're killing an innocent man.
We killed an innocent man. Right? Now, like I said, maybe they couldn't find anything he did wrong. No, the only way they can say he's an innocent man is to be innocent of what they accuse him of. The so-called blasphemy of saying that he was God.
Yeah.
I guess they have to include that he was innocent of that. So Jesus, once again, letting you know who he is by telling you who he was. Do not make gods of silver alongside me, and do not make gods of gold for yourselves. You are to make an altar of earth for me, and there you will sacrifice burnt offerings, your fellowship offerings, your sheep, and your cattle. Man, barbecue! I want it. Okay? And your sheep and your cattle. I just had to read that again.
Yeah, right?
All right. In every place where I cause my name to be mentioned, I will come to you and bless you. When you make for me an altar of stones, do not build it from cut stones, for if you use a tool on it, you will have profaned it. Now, there's a lot, it's like people wonder, it's like, yo, God, what's your beef with cut stone, man?
Yeah.
So why don't you like hewn stone? All right. And now the common, and I agree, the common cause for this is because, when you when you fashion this out of your own hands, you're putting your own pride into it or something, and you're going to look at it and say, this is a work that I did.
True. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's totally it. Yep, excuse me. I don't know if that's so I'm trying to baptize my wife. Right. Not laughing at you. Right? I'm just digging my grave, man. Just shut up, Zoe. Okay. I don't know if that's totally it, because God tells people, like, when it comes to, like, when you start, decorating the tabernacle and cutting these stuff like this, God's telling you, I want skill.
Yeah, he said he wanted the most skilled artists.
I want if you're gonna put that chisel or you're gonna put that knife to anything, I want some skill doing it, right? So it's not like when a person fashions something out of their hands, it's necessarily a bad thing, because there's circumstances for it. So this isn't like an overall circumstance where God doesn't want you to shape stones and stuff like that because it'll profane it, which he says in this instance it will. If you take a tool to these, you will have profaned it. Y'all, I would posit to you that the reason why God does not like cut stone, when you're going to make this altar, the reason why God doesn't like cut stone is because who did Jesus say that he is? Who is Yeshua? He's the cornerstone, right? And he's the cornerstone that no man can fashion.
Amen.
Right? Jesus ain't going to come. What did it tell you in here? Do not make a god, a graven image. Right? Don't be trying to make some graven image of God. Do not try to chisel me out to what you think I'm supposed to be. Don't do that. And who does Jesus say he is? I'm the cornerstone. Amen. The cornerstone that's going to be rejected, right?
Right.
That's who he says that he is. So what it is that when he shows up, they already had an idea of who the Messiah should be, huh? They had already chiseled out. They had already cut a stone that they think that this altar should be made from. And Jesus didn't fit their description, so they killed him. That's why God has an aversion to cutting stone. because this stone has to be laid upon a cornerstone. It has to be built off of that, right? So I would posit to you that that's why God doesn't want this altar made with stones. It's like Jesus gonna come to you. He's just gonna look like a rough rock.
Oh, hallelujah!
Right? No. Now let me back this up a little bit. When it's you'll see the prophecy that says that, basically saying that Jesus gonna look like some ordinary guy. He wasn't anything spectacular to look like or anything like that. No, he wasn't spectacular to look at by the haters. They didn't think he was anything special. But you read in the New Testament, it says that Jesus grew up strong in stature. He was yoked, right? He had some guns on him, y'all. He's climbing them mountains and stuff like Moses. Moses be hunting, just taking them hills and stuff like that. Moses, come up the mountain. Here I come, Lord. Moses, go back down the mountain. All right, Lord. Moses, come back up the mountain. Here I come, Lord. Moses can hike them mountains. What? He was a mountain climbing man. Well, so was Yeshua, right? Carpenter carrying out lumbers and stuff like that. He had some guns. Okay, so because you'll have people say that the reason why Judas had to come and kiss Jesus was because Jesus just looked like every ordinary guy. There was nothing special looking about him. Y'all, that's not why Judas came to kiss Jesus. The reason why Judas came to kiss Jesus, to point out who he was, is because if he didn't, the followers, Jesus' disciples, all his followers, they would have pulled a Spartacus. Which one of you is Jesus? They would have stepped forward and says, I'm Jesus. Arrest me. Yeah. They were ready to give their lives in a war for Jesus. The reason why Peter ran was because he thought there was going to be a fight. He didn't think that it's like, wait, you talk about we're just supposed to hand ourselves up? No, I thought we was going to fight, man. Yeah. I just came strapped, dude. I'm ready to throw down. We ain't going to fight. Bye. That's why Peter ran. Yeah. Peter was looking for a war. So when Judas comes to give Jesus that kiss, he's making sure that they know that anybody who else steps forward claiming to be Jesus, to protect Jesus, is a liar. Wow.
I have never thought about that.
So, in this right here, Jesus is letting them know, there's no mistake. Nobody can fashion who I am. This is it. I'm the stone sent to you, and you're going to take it, and you're going to take me as I am. This is it. You don't have to cut nothing. All right? So, and then lastly, nor are you to go up to my altar on steps. So he can... Sorry. I'm getting my wife's all like... She won't even give me the evil eye. She's just so ashamed of me right now. So I'm not even going to give you the evil eye. Anyway, it says, nor are you to go up to my altar on steps so that your nakedness would not be uncovered while on it. So, they're going up these steep steps. Do I have to paint a picture to you? No, but I'm gonna. Okay.
PG-13 warning.
So they're going up these steps. They got, their garbs on. And I guess draws hadn't been created yet. It's like the Fruit of the Looms, man, hadn't come back then. They didn't have no Fruit of the Looms. They didn't have no hames. They just kind of let it all hang out, right? So they had their garbs on and, and it's, they had to keep it airing out, y'all, because they weren't supposed to have like moisture gathering fabric.
That's true.
They had to keep the stuff,
It would cause mold, which causes leprosy.
Right? They had to be ventilated. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why they just kept this stuff, free flowing. Kept the draft going down there. All right.
I get it.
So, if they're going to climb up this, if they're going to take these stairs, to go worship God, the person behind them is going to get an eyeball.
I actually saw that happen to me at our local mall.
Really?
A girl was wearing like a little cheerleader skirt. I think she had like the little shorts on under it, but you could see right up her skirt.
Man, it's like, girl, I can see what you're thinking. But that's where God is coming from. So they're going up there, and it's, you're going up, you're going to go worship God. You're supposed to have your eyes up and your eyes on God as you climb these steps, and you get the eye full of junk. It's like, oh, this is awkward. God, I'm trying to stay focused on you, Lord, but I'm getting there. Can you gird your loins. Can you tie that skirt up or something like that? If you're getting an eye full of this stuff, it's kind of hard for you to concentrate on Lord. And God's like, you'll defy yourself if you're supposed to be looking at,
focusing on the Lord.
Focusing on the Lord, rather than this distraction.
Yes.
That was fun. It was fun.
Oh my.
Anyway, all right, y'all. That is Exodus 20. I hope that was edifying for you. I thank you so much for you guys hanging in there with us.
Yes.
You're such a blessing to us, y'all. Thank you. I mean,
Indeed.
this is our study, and we started doing this because this is how we study.
Yep.
When we
exactly.
study, we just sit and we just, we could be selfish and just keep this to ourselves, because this is quality time for us. For us. This is a party. I mean, we crack open the Word of God and we just party, because Jesus is the life of the party.
Amen.
He is the life of the party, and that's just what we do. And we could be selfish and just keep this to ourselves. But we invite you guys into our study because I'm a student. We're students.
Yeah.
I'm not assumed to be a pastor. Not looking down on that. Still not really sure what that means, but I'm not that. I'm a student like you. I love the Lord like you, and we just study, and we invite you into our study. And we want
people who love the Lord too.
Yeah, and exactly. This is our fellowship,
Yeah.
and we want to be able to keep doing it. We hope that y'all support. Like I said, doing the ZOpium Den is part of Bronze Serpent Media stuff. All that stuff that I'm talking about that I want to be able to do full time, this is included in it. Right? You ain't gonna get see no online study like this. Y'all should be inviting people. Invite folks to our study.
Where else can you get an online study that includes the word junk?
Right? Anti-fuddy-duddy Bible
Only
study.
my husband would do that.
That's how we do it. Right? So I hope that y'all support. If you want to go to my website, I hope you do. The link is in the description box. And we could definitely use that monthly support to keep bringing you this content, and and give you even better productions, illustrating the gospel. Find fun and engaging ways to do it.
Amen.
So with that being said, y'all, we thank you so much. I done made myself hungry reading about pizza from heaven, and manna with extra cheese, and some beef sausage on it.
But we're gonna have our paleo-friendly, gluten-free dinner.
Yeah. We're gonna have
Paul
tonight.
and Glynis.
Yeah, it's cheeseburgers
Sounds
tonight.
like they're gluten-free and paleo.
I ain't
too.
mad. Yeah, we're gonna have it's cheeseburgers. We're gonna have some cheeseburgers. Anyway, y'all, shalom to you. May our high priest and king be all about you, and his comforter, the Holy Spirit, be all about you. Let's be inspiration to folks that we come into contact with. And get them to understand, to love the Lord with all your heart, mind, and strength. I know a lot of people out there, they're looking for some intellectual stimulation. Well, the Lord tells us to be intellectually stimulated because He wants us to love with His, love Him with His mind. And there's a lot of mental gymnastics to be on in here to keep people entertained long enough to receive the truth. And let's do that for them. Let's get out there and be that salt and light. And rock the gospel out there. Take His word out there. All right, y'all. Blessings in Yeshua's name. Amen.